7 o'clock.
I'll find Nancy.
Oh, yeah.
2022 is what's in the memo.
Which one of the, because there's two, there's one in.
Page 215
No,
in
no,
our
no,
full
what I'm,
packet.
no, what I'm trying to say is there's two. See?
So what are you
There's two
saying?
F-350.
Did you already find it?
One different, one different.
Well, hold on, the cost was 56,523 plus a total of 61,253. Is that the first one?
Yeah,
Okay, so then the second one, hold on.
it's 156,800. That's what I was saying.
So the second one does say it's a 2021.
Right.
Yep. One's 2022 and one's
All right,
2021.
you got it worked out.
Those match.
All right, let's call the meeting of the Finance Committee to order on December 1st, 2021. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Oops, wait a minute. Record. So it's on record. Jeff, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right.
Is the red light on?
The red light is on.
You're good.
Okay. But I thought the mute was not supposed to be up there.
All right, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Okay. Mayor Donches,
Here?
Alderman Patricia Clee,
Here?
Alderman at Large Michael B. O'Brien,
Present.
Alderwoman at Large Shoshana Kelly,
Yes, I'm here.
Alderman at Large Brandon Michael Laws,
I'm here, I'm on Zoom, I'm at home because I'm watching my baby.
Alderwoman Elizabeth Lou, and the clerk is present.
All right, Alderwoman Lou said she could not be here tonight. Public comment, is there any member of the public who would like to address the committee? I don't see anyone. Communications, the first being from David Fredette. Alderwoman Harriet Gathright.
There being no objection, Mayor Donches accepted the communication and placed it on file.
Do you need action on this? Do you need an acceptance? I thought we were,
It was approved by the Board of Aldermen, and it's referred here, because you have to approve it. It relates to two or three vehicles being purchased tonight.
all right, well, why don't we revise that to just be a
Okay.
motion to approve the purchase?
A motion to approve the purchase replacement for one 2014 Toro 5910 mower, DPW Parks and Recreation from FY 2022 Capital Equipment Reserve Fund C SURF.
All right, any discussion? All those in, wait, oh, I'm sorry, we need to do roll call because Alderman Laws is remote.
Mayor Donches,
Yes.
Alderman Patricia Clee,
Yes.
Alderman at Large Michael B. O'Brien,
Yes.
Alderwoman at Large Shoshana Kelly,
Yes.
Alderman at Large Brandon Michael Laws,
Yes.
and the clerk says yes.
All right, motion passes. Now, the second one is the same situation. That was discussed at the Board of Aldermen meeting, so the motion should be to approve.
I motion to approve the Division of Public Works Street Department purchase replacement for one 2009 Chevy C4500 utility body, one 2016 trackless MT6 sidewalk tractor from FY 2022 Capital Equipment Reserve Fund, SURF.
Any discussion? Could you please call the roll, Madam Clerk?
Mayor Donches,
Yes.
Patricia Clee,
Yes.
Alderman at Large Michael B.
Yes.
O'Brien, Alderwoman at Large Shoshana Kelly,
Yes.
Alderman at Large Brandon Michael Laws,
Yes.
and the clerk says yes.
All right. Next communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager.
Mr. Mayor, I motion to accept and place on file and approve the renewal of the software maintenance for the dispatch and record system with Central Square TriTech software in an amount not to exceed $74,427. Funding will be through the Department 150 Police Department. Fund 54407, software maintenance, by roll call.
Now, there's someone from the PD, right?
Yep, I'm here. Peter Simpo, representing the police department.
Could you just give us a short explanation? Even,
Sure. Yeah, the computer aided dispatch and records management software comes with annual maintenance. And this would cover it for the current year from December of this year to December of next year.
okay. Any questions, comments? Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Alderman Clee.
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Laws.
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien.
Yes.
And Mayor Dodges.
Yes. Next item is a communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager. Alderwoman Harriet Gathright.
Mr. Mayor, I motion to accept, place on file, and approve the renewal software maintenance for the data extraction from locked mobile devices for forensics investigations with Great Shift LLC in an amount not to exceed $27,995. Funding will be through Department 150 Police Department Fund 54407, software maintenance, by roll call.
And Mr. Sinfo, you're here on this one too, right?
No, Captain Craig Allard should be on.
All right, Captain Allard? Captain Allard, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. Absolutely. So this licensing software is something that our computer forensic unit uses currently. It's utilized to unlock locked devices as well as to data extract encrypted information on mobile devices, which we use for pretty much all our investigations, child sex abuse investigation, homicides, overdose deaths, missing persons, domestic violence cases. We pretty much use this pretty regularly for all aspects of electronic evidence.
All right, discussion or questions? Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Alderman Clee.
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Laws.
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien.
Yes.
And Mayor Dodges.
Yes. Motion passes. Next item, communication from Kelly Parkinson, Alderwoman Harriet Gathright.
I motion to accept, place on file, and approve the annual software maintenance renewal required for the continued operation of MHC software support services to MHC software in an amount not to exceed $25,973. Funding will be through Department 122 Information Technology Fund 54407, software maintenance, by roll call.
And Ms. Kleiner is here.
Good evening. So we are asking for the approval of a contract for our software maintenance. This is our annual software maintenance. This provides the self-service for payroll, both direct deposits, W-2, 1095s, 1099s. It also provides the accounts payable interface and the ACH interface, allowing us to pay our employees and have these documents delivered to them.
All right, thank you. Questions? Could you please call the roll, Madam Clerk?
Alderman Clee.
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Laws.
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien.
Yes.
And Mayor Dodges.
Yes. Motion passes. Communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager. Alderwoman Harriet Gathright.
Mr. Mayor, I motion to accept, place on file, and approve the annual software maintenance renewal for the continued operation of CCS Cisco SmartNet software to custom computer specialists in an amount not to exceed $40,976. Funding will be through Department 122 Information Technology, Fund 54407, software maintenance, by roll call.
Ms. Kleiner?
Good evening. This annual software maintenance provides all of the maintenance for the city's phone system with Cisco. It's critical, and as you know, IT has done a great deal on integrating the new phone system over the past couple of years, so this really is that crucial support, and it is an annual cost.
Questions? All those in favor of the motion, oh, sorry. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Alderman Clee?
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Lou? I'm sorry, Alderwoman Kelly?
Yes.
Alderman Laws?
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien?
Yes.
And Mayor Dodges.
Yes, motion passes. Communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager. Alderwoman Harriet Gathright.
I motion to accept, placed on file, and approve a contract with Community Media Service Group LLC to go through June 30th, 2022, and to develop a new request for proposal, RFP, with an updated scope of work in an amount not to exceed $92,000. Funding will be through Department 122 Information Technology Fund, PEG Fund 2505/55699, other contractor services, by roll call.
Ms. Kleiner?
Good evening. As many of you know, the city contracts with Community Media Services Group to run the public access channel from our studio over on Riverside Drive. Back in 2012, the city entered into a contract after an RFP with Community Media Services, and the end of that contract allowed them to continue at a month-to-month, year-to-year basis. The Cable Television Advisory Group has decided that it's probably in the city's best interest after the lapse of time to go out for another RFP and at least see what the market conditions bring. So we are currently looking at an RFP. On December 10th, we will be meeting to finalizing that RFP and issue it to the community. We did give Community Media Services a letter to that effect, but we are asking you that while we are undergoing this process, if we could have permission to pay Community Media Services month to month, it's about $11,500 a month, until the conclusion of that RFP process and another vendor has been selected. We anticipate that that will be done within this fiscal year.
Alderwoman Clee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple questions. First is, there's always a possibility that the current media service would be able to, that we would be picking them, or are they just out of the running? I'm a little confused by that.
We have advised Community Media Group that we would like them to respond to the RFP, and if they choose to do so, they will be valued with the other
And
selection.
may I continue, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
Thank you. The $11,500 per month, where you have it not to exceed $92,000, I'm sorry, I haven't done the math in my head, but we're looking at what, like 7 months, 8 months?
Right.
You're anticipating it would take to get
To
through all
get-
this?
Yes, so we hope to, after December 10th meeting, finalize the RFP, get it issued immediately, and then continue the process. We're really looking at April, May to see a new selection, and that new selected vendor would be approved by the CTAP committee.
And just one more question, Mr.
Yes,
Mayor.
go ahead.
What is the annual contract for community media service or media group that we currently have?
So currently, a normal 12-month year is about $130,000.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Alderman Clee?
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Kelly?
Yes.
Alderman Laws,
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien,
Yes.
and Mayor Dodges.
Yes, motion passes. Next communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager.
Mr. Mayor, I motion to accept, placed on file, and approve an amendment to the contract for compressed natural gas price increase with Avis LP in an amount not to exceed $50,000. Funding will be through Department 186 Transportation Fund 61310, compressed natural gas, by roll call.
All right, and we have our Transit Manager, who's going to explain this briefly to us, even though it's somewhat
evening.
self-evident.
Hey, good evening. The compressed natural gas area where it's open to the public is located at 11 Riverside Street. DPW utilizes the compressed natural gas station as well as transit, and it is also open to the public. The vendor requested a price increase due to the price of CNG being increased overall. And so that would change from the current price to $2.49 a gallon. If you have any questions of me, I'd be happy to answer.
Alderwoman Cleve.
Thank you. Just, what is the current price?
I believe it's $2.29.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? All right, could you please call the roll?
Alderman Clee,
Say yes. You're voting.
Oh, yes, sorry.
clerk says
trying
yes.
to read the
Alderwoman
numbers.
Kelly,
Yes.
Alderman Laws,
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien,
Yes.
and Mayor Dodges.
Yes, motion passes. Next, next communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager.
Okay.
Alderman Harriet Gathright.
I motion to accept, place on file, and award a contract for snow plowing and optional sand/salt treatment and snow removal services for 18 parking lots to the Doty Group, Inc. of Hollis, New Hampshire, in an amount not to exceed $40,000. Funding will be through Department 166 Parking, Fund 54207, Snowplow Service, by roll call.
Now, I think Mr. Cummings is here, but this is just the annual contract for the plowing of the lots. The parking overseas.
That's correct, Mr. Mayor. For the record, Tim Cummings, Director of Economic Development, and this is just the annual snow plowing contract at $40,000. That is in our operational budget.
Any questions? Could you please call the roll?
Alderman Clee,
Yes.
clerk says yes. Alderwoman Kelly,
Yes.
Alderman Laws,
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien,
Yes.
and Mayor Dodges.
Yes. All right, motion passes. Next item, Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager. Alderwoman Harriet Gathright.
A motion to accept and place on file and award a contract to enter into a feasibility study to develop a concept plan for 3.5 to 4.0 acres of land for the remnant leftover in the Nashville Mill Yard owned by the city to Icon Architecture in an amount not to exceed $105,000. Funding will be through Department 183 Economic Development Fund, 53142 Consulting Services / Economic Development Escrow Fund, by roll call.
Mr. Cummings?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Tim Cummings, Director of Economic Development. This is a project that we started a while back. The money has been escrowed. We put an RFP out to the market in the spring. We received some proposals. We put together this contract before you, which ultimately would be a deliverable of a concept plan for land in and around where NIMCO is, which is remnant from the Broad Street Parkway. And we would be looking to try to put this land back into productive use so it becomes taxable, and having a better understanding of what we can do with it would behoove us.
And this is, money has been budgeted for this purpose.
I'm sorry, say again?
This money has already been budgeted for this purpose.
Correct, yes.
All right, any discussion? Alderman O'Brien.
Yeah, Mr. Cummings, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Cummings, seeing the former history of the building, not saying anything went on, but are we clear that it's not a brown field? And part of the study will look into that to make sure that the land is clear before we do anything with it?
Yes, part of this study would be looking at the hazardous materials. I would not venture to guess at this time that it is not clean. I would think it's actually may have some hazardous material in it, but we will know that once we get into the planning of the project.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Madam Clerk, could you call the roll?
Alderman Clee?
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Kelly?
Yes.
Alderman Laws?
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien?
Yes.
And Mayor Dodges.
Yes, motion passes. Next, the communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager.
Mr. Mayor, I motion to accept, place on file, and award a contract for a feasibility study of the Elm Street Middle School for professional services designed to Marvell Design in an amount not to exceed $120,000. Funding will be through Department 183, Economic Development, Fund 53142, Consulting Services / Economic Development, Escrow Fund, by roll call.
Mr. Cummings?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, for the record, Tim Cummings, Director of Economic Development. In a similar vein as the previous contract, this is a feasibility study to be done on the Elm Street Middle School. The Elm Street Middle School will become surplus sometime in the spring, summer of 2024. I think it would behoove us to make sure we have a plan in place that we could execute on, particularly because of the importance of the Keefe Theater and making sure that we can keep that operational. So we would like to move forward with this project so we can get a plan in place so we can put the building back into productive use after the summer of 2024.
Alderwoman Clee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Director Cummings, it was a question I was going to ask at the previous one, but in both of these cases, you very specifically say we recommend this bid to be what is the lowest total cost vendor who met the RFP specified requirements. It is not necessarily the lowest bid, but the others did not meet those requirements as you put forward in the RFP. Is that correct? So for instance, I'm looking at this Marvel's 148.5.
So,
And they got Icon and Market, which are below them, but I assume they didn't meet all the qualifications or?
so I want to be clear, that memo is coming from Kelly Parkinson.
Oh, okay.
Not from me. I'm
Okay.
looking at that paragraph right now. I would leave it to her to speak to it, but I think it's pretty safe to say that the proposals that we received, Marvell was not the highest. It was in the middle of the pack, but it was, we negotiated it down, but we were able to still maintain the scope that we originally put out for in our proposal.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Madam Clerk, could you call the roll?
Alderman Clee?
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Kelly?
Yes.
Alderman Laws?
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien?
Yes.
And Mayor Dodges.
Yes, motion passes. Again, a communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager. Alderwoman Harriet Gathright.
A motion to accept, place on file, and approve a design contract for streetscaping along West Pearl Street to Icon Architecture in amount not to exceed $100,000. Funding will be through Department 183 Economic Development, Fund 53142 Consultant Services / Downtown Improvement Committee, and Economic Development Escrow Funds, by roll call.
If I may, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, please.
Again, Tim Cummings, Director of Economic Development. So this contract before you is actually, was an idea or a deliverable that we had originally included in the National Performing Arts Center project. We value engineered the idea of the West Pearl Street streetscaping out of the project to bring that project costs down. The Downtown Improvement Committee still believes that it would be a worthwhile venture to move forward with improving West Pearl Street, particularly with expanding the sidewalks, which are not ADA compliant at this time. And so they have set a bulk of the money aside to bring a design to a point where we could seek construction funding. And that's what this contract endeavors to do.
Discussion? Madam Clerk, could you call the roll?
Alderman Clee?
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Kelly?
Yes.
Alderman Laws?
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien?
Yes.
And Mayor Donches.
Yes, motion passes. Next item, communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager. Alderwoman Harriet Gathright.
I motion to accept, placed on file, and approve change order number 1 for an additional scope of work to file an alteration of Tarrant AOT state permit in amount not to exceed $40,060. Funding will be through Department 160 Engineering, Fund 53107 Architect and Engineering Services by roll call.
All right, and AOT is alteration of terrain
Correct,
permit,
yes.
right?
Yes, yes, Mr. Mayor. Again, Tim Cummings, Director of Economic Development. We need this permit. This was a permit not originally anticipated when we started the design of the project. And once we started designing the project, we realized that we were going to need what's referred to as an AOT permit. And so this is just an amendment to the design contract to allow us to achieve that amendment, achieve that permit, and continue with the design.
All right. Questions? Alderwoman Kelly.
What's an AOT permit?
Yes, great question, if I may, Mr. Chair.
Alteration of terrain.
Alteration.
Alteration of terrain, meaning the ground.
Thank you.
If I may, Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
So after a certain amount of disturbance on land, I want to say 100,000 square feet or thereabouts, the Department of Environmental Services, this is a state level permit, requires a review, and that's what an AOT provides us is a permit after it's been reviewed.
Follow-up?
Yes.
I know you said we didn't anticipate this permit. Do we anticipate changes from their evaluation that will then have to be looked at?
No.
Thank you.
All right, Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Alderman Clee?
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Kelly?
Yes.
Alderman Laws?
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien?
Yes.
And Mayor Donches.
Yes, motion passes. Communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager. Alderwoman Harriet Gathright.
Mr. Mayor, motion to accept, place on file, and approve a contract for construction management services for a new DPW administrative office building located on land off of West Hollis Street and adjacent to the Four Hills landfill to Harvey Construction in an amount not to exceed $12,025,000. Funding will be through Department 160 Engineering, Fund 54210 Construction Services, pending bond approval by roll call.
Just comes to horseshoe.
If I may, Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Thank you. So again, Tim Cummings, Director of Economic Development. This is our standard construction manager contract that we have used time and time again with Harvey. We are seeking this contract so we can move forward with the project and the building, which we would like to keep on track for the spring of 22.
Any questions? Alderwoman Kelly.
Thank you. I was trying to pull up, we have 400 pages in here, but, I'll tell a long-winded story and ask my question. I'm currently also doing some renovations at my home, and the supply chains are out of control. I know that this project has been vetted, and it's important that we do it. I'm just wondering if, as we're building this, if we're adjusting contingency, knowing that things have been harder to get, the prices have been pushed up, that kind of thing.
Yes, that is what keeps me up at night.
Me too. So do you know if we, do we have a standard contingency and did we grow it a bit to make sure that we are
Yes.
trying to cover as much as we can?
Yes, so, and again, it's predicated on us starting in the spring of 2022. We have both a construction contingency and owner's contingency, and we also have some escalation built into the project. So, so long as we continue along the path of issuing a notice to proceed sometime in the spring, we all feel confident that the numbers we're seeing right now will hold.
Great, thank you very much.
Anyone else? Please call the roll.
Alderwoman Clee?
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Kelly?
Yes.
Alderman Laws?
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien?
Yes.
And Mayor Dodges.
Yes, motion passes. Next communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager, Alderwoman Harriet Gathright.
Mr. Mayor, motion to accept, place on file, and approve the engineer services contract for assistance with the sewer rehabilitation program with Hayner Swanson, Inc. of Nashua, New Hampshire, in an amount not to exceed $229,500. Funding will be through Department 169 Wastewater Fund Bond Activities Sewer Infrastructure Improvements. By roll call.
And I think Mr. Hudson is here?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Dan Hudson, City Engineer. This is for engineering services to support our sewer rehabilitation program, both for our dig work, where we actually dig up and replace the pipes, as well as our continuing efforts for CCTV and lining of pipes where that's possible. Hayner Swanson is a local engineering company. They provided this service for a number of years. This contract will get us to the point that we can bid out a project for construction next year. Should we receive suitable bids and approval to award such a contract, then we would be back and seeking services for construction phase engineering for that work. But this will continue our efforts on this important program, and we really need their support to do that.
All right. Anybody? Questions, comments? Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Alderman Clee?
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Kelly?
Yes.
Alderman Laws?
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien?
Yes.
And Mayor Dodges.
Yes, motion passes. Next communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager, Alderwoman Harriet Gathright.
A motion to accept, place on file, and approve a 3-year joint funding agreement with the U.S. Geological Survey, New England Water Science Center, New Hampshire, Vermont office, Pembroke, New Hampshire, for the installation and maintenance of a streamage on the Merrimack River in the amount of $25,850. Funding will be through Department 169 Wastewater Fund, Wastewater Activity, Merrimack River Levy. By roll call.
Is Mr. Boucher here?
Yeah.
I can speak to this one as well,
Okay.
Mr. Mayor. Again, Dan Hudson, City Engineer. So this is to replace a stream gauge on the Taylor Falls Bridge, one of the bridges that we share jointly with Hudson. This was to monitor river levels. We had a stream gauge there that had fallen into disrepair and is no longer repairable. This is a joint agreement with U.S. Geological Survey, where we'll share the cost of the installation of this equipment, but then they will monitor it and post readings to their websites and such on a regular basis, on a continuing basis. This is a 3-year agreement as noted. This gauge is important for emergency management and operation of the levee purposes.
All right, discussion? Alderwoman Kelly.
Thank you. So you said this is a joint piece of equipment, it sounds like. Seems to make sense to share that cost. My question is, it had fallen into disrepair. Who's in charge of maintenance once we put this new piece in?
That's a great question. So the U.S. Geological Survey will be responsible for that maintenance. That presumes that we continue with an annual payment to them, basically. It also, in that fashion, should this need to be repaired again in the future, they would absorb all the cost of that future repair. So we, like I said, we had some equipment that fell in disrepair. It was kind of our responsibility. And then we feel this engagement with USGS, who does this kind of work all the time, all over the country, it makes a lot of sense for them to manage that equipment on a continuing basis. So that's what this agreement does.
Yes, please.
If I could follow up, just to clarify, this is just the installation, there'd be an additional cost for the maintenance after the fact?
Correct. So this agreement, well, the first year of this agreement involves the cost of installation. And so that's split. Actually, USGS is picking up more than half the cost of installation. And then the following 2 years is, what will be an annual maintenance and operation type payment that the city will make. So this is a 3-year agreement. At the end of this, we would expect to come back for another extension. This, will end up being part of our regular operating budget, essentially, just to maintain this equipment and by paying USGS for that service.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll, please?
Alderman Clee?
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Kelly?
Yes.
Alderman Laws?
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien?
Yes.
Mayor Donches.
Yes, motion passes. Next communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager, Alderwoman Carrie Gathright.
I motion to accept, placed on file, and approve amendment number 2 of the Canal Street Bridge Repairs Design Contract with Fuss and O'Neill, Inc. of Manchester, New Hampshire, in an amount of $5,107. Funding will be through Department 161 Streets Fund Capital Activity Bridge Rehabilitation by roll call.
Can you speak to this, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Dan Hudson, City Engineer again. So this is a small amendment, basically similar to a previous item tonight. We'll address some environmental permitting that's required. In addition to that, some work is required due to a vehicle crash that occurred that impacted one of the sides of the bridge. So some additional work's required there. We are working with risk on trying to recoup some of the costs for this, for that damage, but this amendment will get us to the point that we can bid this project out for construction.
All right. Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Alderman Clee?
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Kelly?
Yes.
Alderman Laws?
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien?
Yes.
And Mayor Donches.
Yes, motion passes. Next communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager, Alderwoman Harriet Gathright.
I motion to accept and place on file and approve the purchase of 2 2021 Ford F-550 four-wheel drive dump body trucks from MHQ in Marlborough, Massachusetts, for the contract price of $75,608.10 each, for a total of $151,216.20. Price.
Excuse me, sorry.
Pricing for this purchase will be from the Plymouth County Commissioner's contract. Additionally, approve the purchase and installation of 2 radio systems from Motorola Solutions, Inc. in an amount not to exceed $5,000 each. Funding will be through Department 177 Park and Recreation Fund Trust Activity Surf by roll call.
And is Mr. Ibarra here?
I am, Mr. Mayor. Jason Popolo, the Superintendent of Park and Rec, is no longer with the Division of Public Works of the city. So I've been asked to speak to this purchase. With me tonight is John Stewart, so if you need any historical data or technical data relative to these purchases, he's here joining to answer any of those questions. But to start, this is replacing truck 503 and 504. They're used daily through the summer season, hauling equipment and material and crews to the jobs, and then they'll be used for snow removal during the winter operations. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Madam Clerk, could you call the roll?
Alderman Clee?
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Kelly?
Did you call for questions, Mayor Donches?
I did. Well, I didn't really.
No,
I
you
looked
went
over and
straight
no one
into
had their, did you have a question?
No, I was That's why I was
I
surprised.
looked
The
over
last
and I
two
didn't
times.
see anybody that seemed like they were gonna ask one, so I just went ahead.
Okay.
But if anyone wants to ask a question, no problem at this point. Alderwoman Cleve.
Thank you. Maybe I'm just missing something. The letter here that speaks to 2 dump trucks for $161,217, and it says the value are $56,253 plus a radio of $5,000 each for each one of those, is a total of $161,217. Maybe I'm just not adding it right.
Oh, the number's different.
It doesn't seem to add up, and nor does it match
It
what was
doesn't
read.
have to, because the first one is exceed.
I'm sorry?
And they came in under that. They came in under what the
Okay.
request was to exceed.
Okay. Okay, so this is
So-
the actual cost. What am I?
Right.
Thank you so much.
Exactly.
Thank you, that clarifies it.
I did actually have a question.
Go ahead.
Are you all set? Alderman Cleve?
Yes, I am, thank you.
So I know that we plan for surf and these things are generally there. I just wanted to ask, because I know you have probably 5 or 6 there. I know sometimes departments have gone and said, oh, we can push another year. And we're able to, wait a little bit on these. Are these pretty much, and I'm talking to the next few, so I don't have to ask you the same question each time, but are these vehicles that we're looking at pretty much at their end of their life here?
I'll let John take that one as he's down in the shop more than I am.
I don't want you guys to have less than ideal equipment, just wanted to ask that.
Correct.
Yeah, this is John Stewart, Fleet Manager. These trucks are showing signs of the corrosion on the frame and the bottom of the cabs. That, if they pass inspection again next year, that'll be a bonus.
Okay.
We're hoping just to get the new trucks in before these expire.
And to my previous thing with supply chains, et cetera, let's make sure it happens. I just wanted to ask the question. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Anyone else? Alderman O'Brien.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, the gentleman is here from the Mechanical Division. Would you concur with me that any vehicle that loads salt on and does that type of work in distributing salt and everything, you cut down the life expectancy of that particular bed holding the salt and everything, and it gets on the frame. So these things do sometimes fail early. Well, not early, but they do meet their life expectancy.
And the salt definitely takes a lot of life out of them. It gets in places where you can't wash it out.
All right, anyone else? Madam Clerk, could you call the roll?
Alderman Quay.
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Laws.
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien.
Yes.
And Mayor Donches.
Yes, motion passes. Next communication, again from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager, Alderwoman Harriet Gathright.
Mr. Mayor, I motion to accept, place on file, and approve the purchase of the 2021 Ford F-350 four-wheel drive pickup from MHQ in Marlboro, Mass. for the contract price of $56,254.20, and the purchase and installation of radio system from Motorola Solutions, Inc., in an amount not to exceed $5,000. Pricing for this purchase will be off the Plymouth County Commissioner's contract. Funding will be through Department 177 Park and Recreation Fund, Trust Activities, sir, by roll call.
Questions?
This is
Well, let's first, I guess, get a quick explanation from Mr. Ibarra.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this also is a park and rec, this being a pickup, not a dump truck, used again all season during park maintenance, and again, used for snow plowing operations in the winter. And it's replacing truck 12613. And I'll take any questions that you may have.
Alderwoman Harriet Gathright.
All right, this is the one that we questioned, whether this was a 2022 or 2021. I believe it's a 2021?
It's stated as 2021, that is correct.
Okay. It also said that the, not to exceed the $61,253. Does a dollar make a difference?
Excuse me?
Mrs.
Mrs. Kelly
Parkinson.
Parkinson.
Aye.
Yes, the memo does state, it is 2021, but the quote actually states a 2022.
Yeah, I know, but which one is it?
I believe it's a 2022, because that's what the vendor's quoting.
John, anything to lend to that?
I know they, MHQ is struggling right now to get vehicles in. I believe that they did quote a 2022 on this one?
Yes.
'Cause that will be a utility truck, so I believe that is what makes the difference. That'll have the pickup body delete on it.
But is it a 21 or a 22?
I believe it's gonna be a 22.
So the motion is inaccurate.
All right.
All right, so we'll amend the motion to say 2022 pickup.
And what about
Thank
the
you.
difference in costs? It's only $1.20, but there is a difference.
It's over by $1.20. Will it appears that the total price is $1 over what's stated? What's
That's a
amendment?
round-
I
It's
think
a
that's-
rounding.
What?
It rounded up.
All
When I
right,
put the number in, it just rounded it up.
so what's the right number?
A quote is for 56,254.20 plus the $5,000, so 61,250,220.
254.20, right?
Yes.
All right, so the motion will be amended to be 254.20.
Okay.
Alderwoman Kelly.
Thank you. I asked this question to the police department when they have things come up, and I wanted to just ask if you guys considered hybrid vehicles when you looked at this, going out for bid for new trucks. Gotta ask it as an Energy and Environment Committee member, and hoping that we can continue to do that as things come up and the technology advances.
So we are looking at the technology that's available, but we have not to date found something that'll work for us. We do have CNG in the fleet, but I believe in this weight class, we can't procure those any longer.
Okay. All right, just want to note that as we continue to change over, let's continue to try to keep an eye out for it, because electric vehicles, et cetera, are moving quickly.
Agreed.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So Sharon, I need to be-
Alderwoman Clee.
Thank you. There was a comment that this was a pickup truck and not a dump truck. Is this also plow, or is it just?
Yes,
pickup?
it'll be utilized during winter operations, yes.
Okay, just one comment if I may, Mr. Mayor. Actually, it's a question too. Is this one of the plows that are used through the French Hill area?
Inner city, yes. Park and Rec takes care of the inner city for us.
Right. Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll, please?
Do I need to make the motion over?
Didn't you make the motion already?
I made it with the wrong information.
But we amended it.
Oh.
We amended in two respects, 2022 and then the two.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, point of order, should we vote on the amended
That's what I
version?
I think the maker of the motion can
Okay.
just amend it.
Right.
Amend her motion, which I think she did. All right, could you please call the roll?
Alderman Clee.
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Kelly.
Yes?
Alderman Laws.
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien.
Yes.
And Mayor Hodges.
Yes, motion passes. Next communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager, Alderwoman Harriet Gathright.
A motion to accept, place on file, and approve the purchase of one 2021 Toro GM 5910 Groundmaster mower from Turf Products of Enfield, Connecticut, off the Source Wall contract 64117 for the price of $537.19. Additionally, approve the purchase and installation of radio system from Motorola Solutions in an amount not to exceed $5,000. Funding will be through Department 177 Park and Recreation Fund Trust Activity Surf by roll call.
Mr. Ibarra?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this tractor or mower will be replacing 14452, which I've learned is the backbone of the Park and Rec Department's mowing operations. Also learned that there's 40 parks consisting of 900 acres, of which 150 acres is mowed. And this does the majority of that mowing. And when this breaks down, they have to send out a fleet of smaller mowers. And it really hurts their production. So this is a key piece in the Park and Rec grounds maintenance area. Any questions?
Any questions? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Clee?
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Kelly?
Yes.
Alderman Laws?
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien?
Yes.
And Mayor Donches.
Yes, motion passes. Communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager. Alderwoman Harriet Gathright.
Mr. Mayor, motion to accept, place on file, and approve the rebuild of a raw water pump by Williamson Pump and Motor of Epping, New Hampshire, in the amount of $50,072.15. Funding will be through Department 169 wastewater, account classification, 54 Property Services Fund, 54487 Equipment Repairs, and Maintenance Wastewater Fund. By roll call.
Who's here on this?
I am Mayor.
Oh, okay,
Dave
Mr.
wastewater
Boucher?
superintendent.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the wastewater department had sent out a failed motor to a 20 million gallon per day pump to Williamson Pump for inspection. It had failed due to water getting in the motor cavity. So this cost will cover the entire rebuild of the motor, the rewinding, the baking, and the reassembly with factory parts and new power cables.
All right, questions? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Clee?
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Kelly?
Yes.
Alderman Laws?
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien?
Yes.
And Mayor Donches.
Yes, motion passes. Communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager. Alderwoman Harriet Gathright.
Mr. Mayor, I motion to accept, place on file, and approve the purchase of 2021 Ford F-350 four-wheel drive pickup from MHQ in Marlboro, Mass. for the contract price of $51,800. Pricing for this purchase will be from the Plymouth County Commissioner's contract. Additionally, approve the purchase and installation of radio system from Motorola Solutions, Inc. in an amount not to exceed $5,000. Funding would be through Department 169 wastewater, 81500, vehicles served by roll call.
Mr. Boucher?
Yeah, this will be a heavy-duty pickup truck for us. It'll be fitted with a sander and a plow to do work within the facility and outside the facility, and some off-road sites.
All right, any questions?
Did
Alderman
Mr.
O'Brien.
Boucher say that it's a standard?
No, it's a standard pickup.
Oh, standard, okay. I was gonna say, how are we finding people that can drive a standard anymore?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lost start right now.
I can still do that.
Well, I can too, but, and I don't use the clutch after first.
All right, any other questions? Please call the roll.
Alderman Clee?
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Kelly?
Yes.
Alderman Laws?
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien?
Yes.
And Mayor Donches.
Yes, motion passes.
God bless you.
Communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager, Alderwoman Harriet Gathright.
Mr. Mayor, motion to accept, place on file, and approve the purchase of a 2021 Ford F-250 four-wheel drive pickup from MHQ in Marlboro, Mass. for the contract price of $43,410. Pricing for this purchase will be off the Greater Boston Police Council contract. Additionally, approve the purchase and installation of radio system from Motorola Solutions, Inc. in amount not to exceed $5,000. Funding will be through Department 169 Wastewater Fund, 81500, vehicles work by roll call.
Mr. Boucher?
This one is a basic truck that'll be fitted with a plow, basic pickup.
All right, questions? Please call the roll.
Alderman Clee?
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Kelly?
Yes.
Alderman Laws?
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien?
Yes.
And Mayor Donches.
Yes, motion passes. Communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager, Alderwoman Harriet Gathright.
A motion to accept, place on file, and approve the purchase of one 2021 Ford F-350 four-wheel drive pickup from MHQ in Marlboro, Mass. for the contract price of $79,445.60. Pricing for this purchase will be off the Plymouth County Commissioner's contract. Additionally, approve the purchase and installation of radio system from Motorola Solutions, Inc. in an amount not to exceed $5,000. Funding will be through Department 169 Wastewater Fund, 81500, vehicles worth by roll call.
Mr. Boucher?
Dave Boucher, wastewater superintendent. This is a larger truck. This will have a utility body on it, also fitted with a crane and a plow for doing maintenance work inside and outside of the facility.
Questions?
I do kind of have a question.
Alderwoman Harriet Gathright.
So what is a county commissioner's contract?
I'll let John answer that.
That is a Massachusetts state bid.
It's a state bid?
Massachusetts state bid.
Okay, so is that the same thing with the Boston Police Council contract?
Yes, they have several of the contracts for Massachusetts state.
So they offer to, when this bid takes place, they bid to a large governmental entity and agree to equal the price for every other governmental entity. And so the low bidder to a big contract like that, we can attach ourselves to that and get the same price, basically. So we don't have to, we're likely to get a better price, and we don't have to put it out to bid ourselves because of the volume connected with that contract. All right, we didn't vote on that, though.
No, not yet.
Please call the roll.
Alderman Clee?
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Kelly?
Yes.
Alderman Laws?
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien?
Yes.
And Mayor Donches.
Yes, motion passes. Communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager, Alderwoman Harriet Gathright.
A motion to accept, place on file, and approve the purchase of one 2021 International HB 607 tandem axle water tank truck from Allegiance Trucks in Manchester, New Hampshire for $127,997 pursuant to the current New Hampshire state bid, and the purchase and installation of radio system from Motorola Solutions, Inc. in an amount not to exceed $5,000. Funding will be through Department 168 Solid Waste Fund, 81500, vehicles served by roll call.
Now, is there someone from Public Works here on this? Mr. Fredette is here to tell us that this will need approval of the full Board of Aldermen because the price is 10% more, exceeds 10% more than the budgeted amount in service.
Yeah, that's what I was going to tell you. So, yes, it has to be.
Now, Mr. Ibarra, is there anybody here to just cover the solid waste
Jeff
purchase?
LaFleur, the superintendent of solid waste, is on the line.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Jeff LaFleur.
So this will appear on the aldermanic agenda. Mr. LaFleur.
Yes, sir. This vehicle here is part of our permit for the landfill. We need to water our roads to keep the dust down so it doesn't leave the premises. This truck will also help us respond to fires in the landfill much better than having to call the fire department.
Okay. Questions? Please, oops.
Sorry.
You got to be quick.
I know.
Alderwoman Clee.
It actually is just a quick question. You said that it goes to the board because it's 10% over the budget, and I think that Mr. Fredette was going to speak to it. Is it 10% over the budget because of the current state of affairs with COVID and so on? Because it does.
I think it would be because the price was the value was established some time ago, David, Mr. Fredette, right? And when it.
Yeah, but,
Pardon?
no, yeah, but it was budgeted for 112, so it's over 10%.
Sometimes they go over, But you've seen others that were under. A lot of the ones we've approved have been under the maximum price. So this one happens to be over. But if it's more than 10% over, then the Board of Aldermen has to approve it.
Thank you.
Any other comments, questions?
Yeah,
Go ahead, please.
I think I just missed something there. So in the budget, we didn't have 132,997.
Correct.
Oh, okay, I got it.
But this comes from the SURF account, and it's one big pool, and we're saving money on a number of other items, so that means that on this one, we will have funds to exceed the estimated price.
Okay.
All right, could you please call the roll?
Alderman Clay?
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Kelly?
Yes.
Alderman Laws?
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien?
Yes.
And Mayor Dunches.
Yes, motion passes. Next communication, again from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager, Alderwoman Harriet Gathright.
Motion to accept, place on file, and approve the purchase of one 2022 Ford F-350 pickup truck from MHQ of Marlboro, Mass. for $45,810 pursuant to the Act of MAP GBPC contract number 19-20-21 and the purchase and installation of radio system for Motorola Solutions, Inc. in an amount not to exceed $5,000. Funding will be through Department 168 Solid Waste Fund, 81500. Vehicles served by roll call.
Mr. LaFleur?
Jeff LaFleur, Superintendent Solid Waste. This is just a normal pickup truck for the use of the, inside the landfill. It'll be equipped with a plow, and we will have a sander in the back to make the residents of Nashua safe when they come into the Fort Hills landfill.
Questions? Please call the roll.
Alderman Clee?
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Kelly?
Yes.
Alderman Laws?
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien?
Yes.
Mayor Dunches.
Yes, motion passes. Communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager, Alderwoman Harriet Gathright.
A motion to accept, place on file, and approve the purchase of a Caterpillar 980M wheel loader from Milton Cat in Londonderry, New Hampshire for $489,900 pursuant to the Sourcewell contract number 032515-CAT pending bond approval and the purchase and installation of radio system from Motorola Solutions in an amount not to exceed $5,000. Funding will be through Department 168 Solid Waste Fund, 81500. Vehicles served by roll call.
Mr. LaFleur?
LaFleur, Superintendent Solid Waste. Thank you, sir. This is an essential piece of equipment at our landfill. This is the loader that loads all of our recycling, all of our demo, all of our cover materials, and we haul it out to the landfill to cover our landfill at the end of the day. Just want to note that the loader that we have on site right now will be saved as a backup.
All right, questions? Please call the roll.
Alderman Clee.
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Laws.
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien.
Yes.
And Mayor Dunches.
Yes, motion passes. Next item, Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager, Alderwoman Harriet Gathright.
A motion to accept, place on file, and approve the purchase of one semi-automatic solid waste collection vehicle from Renewal of Morgantown, Pennsylvania, in the amount of $341,275, pending bond approval pursuant to the Sourcewell contract number 112014-MCN, and the purchase and installation of radio system from Motorola Solutions, Inc., in an amount not to exceed $5,000. Funding will be through Department 168 Solid Waste Fund, 81500. Vehicles served pending bond approval by roll call.
Mr. LaFleur?
LaFleur, Superintendent Solid Waste. This side loader right here is a one-man truck that the person physically moves the barrels over to the truck and dumps it. This will be used for recycling and can also possibly be used for trash when needed. The vehicle that it's replacing will be kept for a backup during inspection seasons and repairs.
All right, questions? Please call the roll.
Alderman Clee.
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Laws.
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien.
Yes.
And Mayor Dunches.
Yes, motion passes. Communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager.
Mr. Mayor, I motion to accept, place on file, and approve the purchase of winter road salt from Granite State Minerals of Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and Eastern Minerals, Inc. of Chelsea, Mass. in the amount of $465,000. Funding will be through Department 161 Streets, Fund 61514, SALT, by roll call.
Mr. Ibarra, probably.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this is an annual expenditure out of our operating budget for our winter road salt. What I would like to mention is that this year's price of road salt has increased dramatically from last year's $49.50 a ton to $72 a ton. Actually, the state bid went out at $72.60 a ton, and they gave it to the city for $72 a ton. This will impact us by about 3,000 tons less this year with our operating budget. Hopefully, the brining operation that we've implemented and continue to grow will help us out in that aspect. And I'm happy to take any questions you may have.
Anyone? Alderman O'Brien.
Yeah, thank you. It's just mostly a comment, but if you want to speak briefly about the brining process, I think it's been highly successful. I know we tried it out, and it seems whenever we pre-treat, I know the state pre-treats the road, so as we're coming into the season, if you just want to give a brief explanation and the benefits of it.
Sure. So the biggest impact would be the reduction in the use of salt. So making brine, we can actually get more out of the ton per lane mile. This also keeps the hard pack from forming on the road. The limitations are the pavement temperature, air, relative humidity. So you really have to more or less be a meteorologist to know when you can actually use it. But we're seeing around a 20% reduction in the use of solid material by implementing this brine. And every truck purchased, that's a big truck, we have the liquid application tank included in the purchase. So we're growing our brine application process, it seems, every year. And it's a great benefit to the environment and the budget.
And the roads.
And the roads.
Alderwoman Clee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is not the same salt or sand that the citizens or residents can get over at the over by Stello's Stadium.
So it is actually.
It
so
is?
we take it out of the salt barn and put it over there in the residence salt barn. And we have a pile of sand in the other side of that same little shed. As far as the brine goes, that is not open to the public. That's an in-house application that we use. And if any of you are interested in a tour, we built our own facility over there. It's a really neat process. I'd be happy to show you around.
Thank you. So with the reduction of, by having 3,000 tons less, is this, are we going to still be able to offer it to the citizens?
We will always take care of the citizens in this city. That is what we exist for.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, please call the roll.
Alderman Clee?
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Kelly?
Yes.
Alderman Laws?
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien?
Yes.
And Mayor Dunches.
Yes, motion passes. Next item, Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager, Alderwoman Harriet Gathright.
I move to accept, place on file, and award the contract for the replacement of 5 garage bay doors located at the Street Department facility to Fimble Garage Doors of Merrimack in the amount of $60,559.55. Funding will be through Department 161 Streets, Fund 81200, Building and Improvements, by roll call.
Mr. Ibarra?
Oh, sure. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So over at the street department, we have quite a few overhead doors, original equipment that have existed in a very corrosive environment. The bottoms of them are rotted out. And we finally have the funding to go out to bid. We received 3 bids for the replacement of those 5 doors, and Fimble was the low bidder on the project. So with your approval, we'll get to put in some new overhead doors.
Questions? Please call the roll.
Alderman Clee?
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Kelly?
Yes.
Alderman Laws?
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien?
Yes.
And Mayor Dodges.
Yes. Motion passes. Communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager, Alderwoman Harriet Gathright.
A motion to accept, place on file, and approve the purchase of one trackless MT7 articulated tractor from HP Fairfield of Hopkinton, New Hampshire, for a price of $166,528 pursuant to the HGAC contract number GR01-20, and the purchase and installation of radio system from Motorola Solutions, Inc., in an amount not to exceed $5,000. Funding will be through Department 161 Streets, Fund 81500, vehicles served by roll call.
Mr.
I'll
Ibarra?
speak to that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this is our sidewalk tractors that we use for snow removal on the sidewalks, primarily around schools. But we do maintain 50 miles of sidewalks throughout the city. And these particular tractors, you can use multiple implements. So we get to use them in the summer with the milling attachment. So we do our mill and fill program, that's paving. We grind out bad sections of street that aren't on the paving program, and we pave small patches citywide. And we have a sweeper, we have a sickle bar mower for them. So it's a multi-tool. It's used year-round. We typically have 9 of them. We just auctioned off 2 that were out of service. I had 2 out back that are out of service. So they work hard. They beat themselves up every time they run. This is replacing 16060. It is a 3,200-hour machine. And I'm happy to take any questions you may have.
Anyone? Please call the roll.
Alderman Clee?
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Kelly?
Yes.
Alderman Laws?
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien?
Yes.
And Mayor Dodges.
Yes. Motion passes. Communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager, Alderwoman Harriet Gathright.
A motion to accept, place on file, and approve the purchase of a Caterpillar M317F wheeled excavator pursuant to the Sourcewell contract number 03219-CAT for $275,000, and the purchase and installation of radio system from Motorola Solutions, Inc., in an amount not to exceed $5,000. Funding will be through Department 161 Streets, Fund 81500, vehicles served by roll call.
Mr. Ibarra?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this will be replacing our 12105 excavator. It's a 312 cat. And this one will be a rubber tire machine, which will get us out to the jobs a lot quicker. We can actually drive it down over the road versus loading one up on a flatbed trailer and carting it to the jobs. As you probably know, we take on, through the Division of Public Works, a lot of larger scale projects, and this will make it a lot more equitable to take on those projects. It'll be the backbone of our operation, so to speak. We do sewer repairs, drainage repairs, road work, but also projects as the sidewalks downtown, or the Greeley Park boat ramp, the rehabilitation of the Lincoln Park project, the skate park, all these larger projects we're getting into and saving the city a lot of money. This will help us continue to do such things. And I'm happy to answer any questions relative to this purchase.
Anyone? Please call the roll.
Alderman Clee?
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Kelly?
Yes.
Alderman Laws?
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien,
Yes.
and Mayor Donches.
Yes, motion passes. Communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager, Alderwoman Harriet Gathright.
Mr. Mayor, I motion to accept, place on file, and approve the purchase of one 2022 Ford F-350 pickup truck from MHQ in Marlboro, Mass. for installation, for $77,662.80 pursuant to the active MAPC-GBPC contract number 19-20-21 and the purchase and installation of radio system from Motorola Solutions, Inc. in an amount not to exceed $5,000. Funding will be through Department 161 Streets, Fund 81500, vehicles served by roll call.
Mr. Ibarra?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this purchase will be replacing truck 40 with 132,000 miles on it. That's primarily used by the sign maintenance or traffic crews in their daily work. It'll come equipped with a crane, an onboard compressor, that'll allow the guys to change out signs and do any traffic details they need to do. 40 will be kept in service as long as possible, so it's no longer feasible to keep it on the road or if it fails inspection. And again, I'm happy to answer any questions on this purchase.
Anyone? Please call the roll.
Alderman Clee.
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Laws.
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien.
Yes.
And Mayor Donches.
Yes, motion passes. Next communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager, Alderwoman Harriet Gathright.
A motion to accept, placed on file, and approve the purchase of one Johnson vacuum sweeper from Sanitary Equipment Company, Inc. of Stoughton, Mass. for a price of $289,947 pursuant to HGAC contract number SW04-20 and the purchase and installation of radio system from Motorola Solutions, Inc. in an amount not to exceed $5,000. Funding will be through Departments 161 Streets, Fund 81500, vehicles served by roll call.
Mr. Ibarra.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This purchase will be to replace our existing street sweeper 1292. It's a Timco 600 regenerative air sweeper. We're gonna go with a vacuum sweeper, which seems to work a lot better around town. We get a lot more debris up off the street and the curb. This one that we're replacing has 6,382 hours, and it's getting near the end of its life. It's got a lot of breakdowns. And we do run 5 large sweepers from early spring until fall. We're actually still running now, and we'll continue to run as long as the weather permits. But this is key to keeping our city streets clean and safe. And I'll take any questions you may have on this purchase.
Alderwoman Clee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is not really on this purchase so much as a question about the sweepers. When we do the street sweeping, does it also pick up the debris that's kind of hanging around the sewers or the gutter, whatever you want to call because I know when I walk the street, sometimes I'll see that they're all clogged up and.
Catch basin.
Yeah, catch basins, yeah.
Yeah, they sweep the gutter, or we call the curb line. Year to year, it's hard to keep up with some of it depending on the leaf fall, but yes, that is what they do. They maintain the drainage ways and curbs.
But if it's clogged, you gotta have someone come out and.
Yeah, that is one of the things that I do notice, especially like when I'm walking through French Hill and everything like that. I see a lot of like overgrowth and so on by some of those. And I know the one by my house, we go out and clean it regularly, but not everybody does that. So I just was wondering whether or not the street sweepers, it's not easy for me to say, have the ability of really kind of getting down and cleaning, because there's a lot of very thick, and you can't always clean it in the holes there, yeah.
No, they can take just the surface material.
Okay.
If it's more involved than that, we would ask wastewater to go out there and clean the basin.
Okay, thank you.
And we're happy to do so if you have a particular area that you need done.
And I have called, and you guys have been wonderful. You've come out and taken care of it. I just was wondering if the sweepers did any of it as well, so thank you.
Yep.
All right. Anyone else? Please call the roll.
Alderman Clee?
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Kelly?
Yes.
Alderman Laws?
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien?
Yes.
And Mayor Dodges.
Yes, motion passes. So the next is a communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager, regarding a change order for the Conservation Commission Technical Assistance Contract. Without objection, I will accept the communication and place it on file. Next, we have a communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager, concerning a change order for Transit Center renovation. If there's no objection, we will accept the communication and place it on file. And there is a communication then from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager, regarding emergency PO request roofing materials. If there's no objection, we will accept that communication and place it on file. Unfinished business.
None.
We don't have any. New business resolutions, none. New business ordinances, none. Record of expenditures. Madam Clerk, please make your motion. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I motion that the Finance Committee has complied with the city charter and ordinance pertaining to the record of expenditures for the period from October 16, 2021 to October 28, 2021, October 29, 2021 to November 11, 2021, and November 12, 2021 to November 23, 2021, by roll call.
Any questions? Please call the roll.
Alderman Clee?
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Kelly?
Yes.
Alderman Laws?
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien?
Yes.
And Mayor Dodges.
Yes. Motion passes. General discussion. Any general discussion? Alderwoman Khalil.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It really doesn't relate so much to the Finance Committee, but I've been getting a number of phone calls relative to the letters that went out to, actually, Mr. Mayor, before I speak, there is someone, I think we forgot public comment.
Oh,
Under general
haven't
discussion,
got to that
sorry.
yet.
We're not to public comment.
Yeah, I'll wait till remarks by the Alderman, right?
All right. Any other general discussion? If there is none, then we'll go to public comment. Anybody in the public wish to address the committee?
Yes.
Antolano's hands up.
Please go ahead. Introduce yourself, and you, of course, have 3 minutes.
Lori Ortolano, 41 Berkeley Street. This was a big agenda to follow, and I don't know if it's normal, but there were no motions attached to the packet. I thought usually you gave the motions like you would in any board packet, so it made it pretty challenging to follow and have to go through the data. I'm wondering, I noticed that I went back and looked at the budget for the surf equipment for DPW, and I noticed we purchased maybe 5 or 6 other pieces of equipment that were not in the budget for DPW under surf. And I'm wondering if they weren't listed, does that exceed the 10% rule, and you have to bring that to the board as well? And maybe I'm not reading it correctly, but the first thing I did when I saw all of this equipment was to see what we budgeted. And it seems to me we budgeted a lot more trucks and equipment, and I'd also like to know why, if they weren't budgeted, why we didn't know we needed the equipment and why we need it now. Yeah, some of the accounts, it didn't seem like the letters attached matched the motions on where the funding was coming from, but I couldn't verify that because I didn't have the actual motions being read. I was happy to hear Alderwoman Kelly, ask about the cost of these, the DPW facility with the increases in all of the material costs going on as a result of these shipping issues and COVID in general. But, one of the things I think that would be good for the board to do is to look at change orders and cost changes that have happened with the school and with the PAC. I've been asking for information about the Performing Arts Center It's been several years, I think, since the board has had an update on that. And I really feel before you approve this bond, we should be looking at the other two and how cost containment is going, particularly on the purchase of items that are going to go into the building. I think that matters. And just one other thing relative to the brining. And, I know we all love the brining, but I think one thing you forget about is that it's super corrosive on the equipment. So you get all this benefit of less salt, but you get an increase in wear and tear on your equipment and corrosion. And I'm wondering how we treat that. I know some businesses actually oil their trucks after they come back from brining to increase the life of the vehicle and, clean them very thoroughly. And I think that's something we should look at, because while we may save money on salt, the cost of these vehicles, as you've just gone through quite an extensive list, is obviously very expensive as well. So that's my input tonight. Thank you.
All right. Any other members of the public wish to address the committee? All right, we'll go to remarks by Alderman. Alderwoman Clee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and my apologies for jumping the gun on this. I just wanted to address the emails and so on that I've been getting, and I'm sure other aldermen have gotten them as well, relative to the letters of assessing and coming into people's homes and so on. First, let me clarify that the city is not demanding that you allow them in. That it seems to be something that's been out there, that the city is demanding that. The city is never demanding that. I believe it was in 2019 that we were required to do this level of assessment, and then it had to be completed by 2022. I could be wrong on the years, but I believe that that was correct. And the city is just trying to comply with the state's requirement. They are, the best valuation we can get of the city is to actually do go in and do a full measure and list in each home. However, it is your constitutional right to say no. Personally, I will be allowing them to come in. The other question that seems to be out there is that we are sending unvaccinated people in and that masks aren't required and so on, and that is not true. I did speak to Director Kleiner to get clarification on that. They will be wearing masks. They will be vaccinated. If at the time you make your appointment, you want proof of vaccination, you can ask that, and I believe that they will bring some type of proof with them. The city is not demanding this, and we need to make sure that that's quite understandable. I think it would be good if you did let them into your home, but everybody has their own reason, and you don't need to give the reason why you do not want them there. So I just want to make that clear. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
All right, any other comments by Alderman, remarks by Alderman? All right, I don't see any.
Mr. Mayor, sorry.
Yes. Oh, Mr. Alderman Laws.
I just wanted to apologize and thank you all for your patience. On Wednesday nights, Sophia doesn't get home from work late, and I know this is a prolific agenda, and I'm sorry for forcing your hand and having to do a roll call for everything. So thank you, everyone.
Well, of course, we like to see you personally, so.
But if you just show the baby once in a while, yeah.
I literally was gonna raise my hand and say, where's that beautiful baby? If you're gonna say she's with you, we need to see those cheeks. I actually also, if I could, just wanted to
please
point out that this is the second to last meeting that Mr. Laws will be with us. We'll miss you and sweet chicks. Yes.
I'll bring the tissues.
Aww.
All right, anyone else for Alderman's remarks? If not, Alderwoman Clee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I motion to adjourn at 8:28.
Please call
By
the
roll
roll.
call, please.
Please call the roll.
Alderman Clee?
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Kelly?
Yes.
Alderman Laws?
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien?
Yes.
And Mayor Dodges.
Did you say yes?
No, but the yeses prevail and the meeting is adjourned.
Good man.